Good morning. Yes, let's begin, guys. So, yesterday, where did the pen go? 1 second. Okay, so yesterday we were discussing various provisions, and let's do a quick revision of that. Once I find my pen, finally found it. Yeah, so quick revision of yesterday's discussion. We were discussing the various, what do you say, sources of law and all those things. I'll just do a quick revision. Okay, 1 second. So initially, to start off with, we saw the history of Income Tax Act. That's okay, but ultimately it was passed on September 13th, 1961. Got the presidential assent, but then eventually it came into force on 1st April 1962. And we were discussing the sources of law. One is the legislature, then it is the judicial precedent, and then the customs and tradition. And there are three wings of the entire law: legislature, judiciary, and executive. And executive is your entire Indian Revenue Service officers will come under the executive. Then we saw the constitution of the entire Income Tax Act. So how it came into force. So it is derived from Article 265 of the Indian Constitution, which says that tax can be imposed only by operation of law. Law means there has to be a legislation to be passed. And law is of two types. One is an ordinance. Ordinance is passed by the President of India during an emergency. And within 6 weeks of the Parliament coming into force, it has to be passed. Otherwise, it will lapse. Again, new ordinance will come. That will also lapse. It will be like that. On the other hand, we saw Article 245 and Article 246, which said there are two types of lists: union list and state government, that is your state list, and concurrent list. Under the union list, entry number 82 talks about tax on income other than agricultural income, whereas agricultural income is the sole, right of the state to pass. That is under Article 46, entry number 46, sorry. Then union list, on the other hand, has one more entry, 97, whereby whatever they cannot charge under 82, they will pass under 97. Best example was your service tax once upon a time, and now there is something called equalization levy. All these countries came together and decided, let's do this equalization levy. So that is what it is. Cool. So this is what we saw. Right. Your book is there. Take it. Workbook. Last part. Last. Yeah. Cool. So that is what it is. So I asked you to sit like this because vision will be fine. Somewhere here if possible. Is it okay? Thank you so much. Right. So that is what it is. So law, constitution, article, and that is what it is. Now, moving on, guys. Coming to these areas, Kesavananda Bharati, all that we saw. Yeah. Now, any section for that matter. And before that, we'll finish this. Structure of the Income Tax Act is done. Bifurcation of any section. So guys, random section I'm telling here. 264, 1A1, something randomly I'm telling. What do you say, make of this? What is this called? This is section. This is obviously section. This is what? Subsection. Correct. Section 264, subsection 1. This is what? Subsection. No. This is clause. This is clause. What about this? What is this? This one is there. No, what is that? No, that is not explanation. It is also called subclause. Right? So it is subclause 1 of clause A of subsection 1 of section 264. That is how I need to read. Right? Under that there will be provisos, as you told. There will be explanations. All that we will see when we see the law. So this is section 264, subsection 1, clause A, subclause 1. Right? So should I actually read like that? Subclause 1 of clause A of subsection 1 and section 2? Yes, but nobody has the time. So what do we say? 264, 1A1. 264, 1A1. So nobody has the time, but this is how we should read it. But by that logic, this will be what? Section 2, subsection 1A. Yes or no? Ideally, yes, but no. But you see, guys, in definition, no. Only definition I'm saying. If I go to section, always in most of the laws, 99.99% of the laws, section number 2 is what? Definitions. And whenever in the law there are, what do you say, different, see, for example, here you see, I'll just show you this one thing. See, in section 3, there's only one section here, so it's just section 3. Section 4, you see. The entire section talks about charge of income tax. I'm just giving you an example. Here, this is subsection 1. Then subsection 2 is a continuation of subsection 1 only. So here I will say 4 subsection 1, 4 subsection 2. If you see again in respect of income chargeable under subsection 1, isn't there a link? Yes. Subsection 2, there is a link to subsection 1. That's why it's called subsection. But if you see only very strangely in section 2 is a definition. Can I say the definition of advance tax is different from agricultural income? Yes. Agricultural income is different from amalgamation? Yes. Amalgamation is different from additional commissioner? Obviously, yes. So, it is like a cluster of sections coming together under one section, section 2. Cluster of sections coming together under section 2. Hence, this will not be called as subsection in definition. What will each of these things called? Clause, yes. So guys, only in the definition section and some other sections where it can be separated. Where it can be separated. Where it can be separated. This is not called subsection. It is called a clause. Why? Because each of those is a separate definition. Because every, what do you say, point is a separate definition. Hence, you will say what? 2 clause 1a, 2 clause 1, 2 clause 2, like that. But in other things, like we saw section 4, there it was section 4 subsection 1, section 4 subsection 2. It is not 4 clause 1, 4 clause 2. So that is the predominant difference that we need to understand. Whenever we are discussing now definition, it should always be 2 clause 1a, like that. And it's okay if you do not remember section numbers. Coming to that, section numbers, is it important to remember? Guys, there are so many sections, it is not possible for us to remember, but automatically while we are doing it, main sections you will only remember, I can assure you that. So coming to this, the entire structure of the Income Tax Act, any idea what would be the number of, what do you say, everything is divided into chapters. So if I see here, basis of charge is fine, all this we'll see. So somewhere, wherever there is place, you can probably write down. The structure of the Income Tax Act, we saw about law, ordinance and all that we saw. I'm just probably here only you can write down somewhere here or wherever there is place, or you can write in your book, doesn't matter. So I'm talking about the structure of the Income Tax Act. I mean, how many chapters are there? Only that much I'm writing. Income Tax Act, if you think about it, the entire thing, Income Tax Act. So guys, I'll open the Bare Act. You can also see your Bare Act. Can you tell me how many chapters are there? The beauty is everything is divided into chapters. Like the entire, see, if I have 100 sections, can I divide it into various chapters? Yes. For example, in company law, there is something called chapter number 10. Chapter number 10 is for what? Audit and auditors. No problem. Audit and auditors. What is audit and auditors chapter? It is from, 139 to 148. So a cluster of sections will be divided into various chapters. So here, how many chapters are there? As far as chapter numbers are concerned, you will find it in the index of the Bare Act. In fact, there are 23 chapters. First only index are you seeing? In that it's there, no? Is it divided into chapter number? Yes. You count the number of chapters, there are 23 chapters, correct? So there are 23 chapters in terms of numbers. In terms of numbers. You can move it little this side. You can keep your legs. No problem. No problem. So that you can sit comfortably. Yeah, no tension. Yeah, thank you. You can just turn that this side. Allah, idmele matra. Thank you. Yes. So 23 chapters. 23 chapters are there. 23 chapters. And what would be the count of these chapters, guys? I'm sorry, this, what do you say? 23 chapters are there, but if you see, this is the overall number. But guys, you see, chapter 6 is one there. Chapter 6A is also there. Are you seeing? So chapter 6A is also there, right? Can you tell me any other chapter name which is like weird? 6A is there for sure. Then 6B is also there. Then 20B, 20C, like that it is there. So these are all the various chapters that we have. Have you registered? No. Okay. Yeah. So if you see 23 chapters, right? 23 chapters we have. This is the, as far as the numbers are concerned. Numbers. But actually, what is the count? Sir, let's not waste time. I'll only tell you. There are 49 guys, 49 as far as count is concerned. Means chapter 6 is 1, chapter 6A is 1, there is 2. Like that, if I count, 49 chapters are there. That's the basics we should know. And these chapters and the count is divided into, what do you say? Various sections. Sections. How many sections are there, guys? You see the number now in the Bare Act. Number wise, number. There are 298 sections. Count, if you see, it will be some 400 plus minimum, 400, 500. Because you see, some sections, I mean, I'll just show you here only. I mean, you can only check also, as usual. I mean, you can check in the main thing. But if you see, you'll only go, you see here, 10A, 10A, 10AA, 10B, BA, BB, C, like that. See, 12, 12AA, 12AB, 13A, 13B. So like 400 plus sections are there like that. Count wise. So you leave, count, you leave. It's not exact count, not because every time they'll be changing, guys. There's no point knowing the count. I'm just saying every time they'll be adding new, subtracting new, so it's fine. So because some sections, though it is their number, but the section only is deleted. So you can't sit and count all that. Anyway, after the sections, no, there are something called schedules. What do schedules do? Schedules can give format and all those things. How many schedules are there? Check it out. After all the sections are over, schedules. Yes, 14 schedules are there. After these 298 sections, you see 9 schedule, 12 schedule, 14 schedule. 14 schedules. What do schedules do? They give certain formats to certain things. Like first schedule talks about insurance business. Second schedule talks about the procedure for recovery of tax, like that. So 14 schedules. We have 14 schedules. Apart from that, guys, can I make, what do you say? Who is the regulatory body? Who will regulate? Like for example, for banks we have RBI. For stock exchanges we have SEBI. Who is the regulatory body for Income Tax Act? CBDT. Central Board of Direct Taxes. CBDT is the regulatory body. They will provide, I mean, they are a wing of, what you say, the government, which is the Central Board of Direct Taxes, and CBDT, that is through government, correct? That is called the board. Like for example, for our company law related stuff, we have MCA, Ministry of Corporate Affairs, like that. This is a wing of the government, CBDT, Central Board of Direct Taxes. Now, Central Board of Direct Taxes is also a rule making body, as well as the regulation of the entire Income Tax Act is done by them. They will prescribe rules. They will prescribe rules. So, for example, if I just say this has to be done as per this, as may be prescribed. If a law says this, how to procedure, etc., will be given by as may be prescribed. Prescribed means what? Prescribed by CBDT. So they will, give the procedure, entire procedures of everything. They will give. They will also give certain notifications. They will give certain explanation in the form of circulars. All that we'll see later. Now, one question that I asked you yesterday: law-making body, lawmaker is who? Lawmaker is the, Government. Now, government will make the law through what? Through CBDT only, obviously. The question here is, uh, are these rules part of the law? See, guys, in the Bare Act, chapters are part of the section, entire act. Sections are part of the entire act. Schedules are also part of the law. What about rules? Are rules part of the entire law? Or they are just guidelines? Rules. Guidelines. So, rules, if you see, okay, 1 second. The power to make rules, should it be there in the Bare Act, or they can, since it's government only making the law, they can do whatever they want? In the law, should there be a power to make the rules? Yesterday we saw who has the power to make the, what do you say, law? It is the legislation, which means legislation also should give the power for the CBDT to make rules. And that power, my dear friends, is given in section number 295. These are all basics. If you see section 295, I told you first 15 classes, you'll be like, what is going on? Because we are going to see so many sections just to try and understand what things are there. See here, section 295 dialogue. There. Power to make rules. The board may, subject to the control of the central government, by notification in the Gazette. Yesterday I showed you Gazette. All these notifications will come in the Gazette, will make rules for the whole or any part of India for carrying out the purposes of the Act. For the whole or any part of India, they can say for Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, this will be the rules. For Manipur, this will be the rules. They can do that, no problem. For northeast of India, this will be the rule. For some parts of North India, this will be the rule. Yes, depending on the facts of the circumstances, they can change the rules. So this is what, guys, this is power to make rules. As I told you, section number 295 gives this power. Section 295 gives the power to make the rules. So yesterday we saw law-making body power as per the constitution is given only to one person, that is a legislature. And legislature now thereby gives power to CBDT through section 295 to make rules. So my chapters, my sections, my schedules, my rules are all part of the Act, part of the Income Tax Act. Two other words I have written here, notification and one more is circular. What is the difference between the two, guys? Notification and circular. What is the difference between a notification and circular? What do you think? If you see here also, no, in this dialogue, it says what? By notification in the official gazette. By notification, they can make rules. What do you mean by notification? Notification can be added to act. Circular may not be. Okay, fine. So if you see, you can answer, no problem. There is no wrong answer, right answer. We are all here to learn. See here, come to this part, A3. Binding powers of notification and circular. What is a notification? What is a circular? So we'll write down here, guys, notification. What is a notification? They are subordinate legislation. Subordinate legislation means what? It is part of the law, as you rightly said. It is part of the law. Aren't rules part of the act? Yes. How are rules made? Notifications. So it's a subordinate legislation. It is issued by CBDT, Central Board of Direct Taxes. How will they do it? They will publish it where? In the official gazette. Publish it in the official gazette. Now, is it binding on every single person? Yes, binding on all. It is binding on everyone. No second thought about it. It is binding on every single person. Right? So, example rules are published via notification. Rules are published via notification. So where will it come? Official Gazette. It will be always in the official Gazette. That is one part of the story. So if you see, so I'm going here and there in the entire Bear Act. See here. There is one section 119. Instructions to subordinate authorities. Under CBDT, who all will be there? Yesterday we saw Chief Commissioner of Income Tax, Commissioner of Income Tax, Joint Commissioner, Assistant Commissioner. If I want to issue certain instructions from time to time, what are they? Orders, instructions, directions. Then they will issue these orders, instructions, directions through something called as circulars. So circulars are issued under, write down here, circulars are issued under which one? Circulars are what? Orders, instructions, directions issued by CBDT under section 119. Section number only for your reference. Under section 119. They are in the nature of guidelines. They are in the nature of explanations. It is only issued to subordinate authorities. No, subordinate authorities. It is binding only on whom? The authorities. Binding only on the AO, assessing officers, tax officers. Nobody else. Circular. So it is not binding on general public. Generally, we think it is binding. It is not. Circulars are not binding on the general public at all. It is only for the subordinate authorities like assessing officers. They'll give some instructions, orders, etc. like that. Notification, circular. Yeah. Which one? Bare means naked. B-A-R-E. It's actually the word, when I use the word Bare Act, there is nothing called Bare Act. It's act only. Bare means what? It's English word which means naked. Means as passed in the parliament. Raw form. In the most raw form. Right? How will you extract honey? Honey is in the bottle you drink, but how is it extracted? There will be honeycomb, right? You will go there first. If unfortunately disturb the honeybees, honeybees will fly away. You'll add some chemicals there and then you extract the honey. This is nothing but that only. The book that you have is like the honey bottle. But which is the actual honeycomb from which the actual honey is extracted? Bare Act. Bare means naked from the source document. So there is nothing called Bare Act. It's an act only. We use the word bare to understand it is, what do you say, naked. Don't use this spelling. This is Kardi, B-A-R. Don't use Kardi Act. This is B-A-R-E. That is Bare Act. So if you see, right, some people use this unfortunately. That's why. Students only sometimes message me, sir, which Bare Act to follow. Then I'll send one bare picture. They'll not understand. Right? Yes. So B-A-R-E. B-A-R-E. Cool. So binding only on the assessing officer. So guys, what about the finance minister's speech? Is it binding? Nirmala aunty will come and now talk. according to me, this has to happen, this has to happen. Is that binding on anybody? No. Finance minister's speech is just a personal opinion, or even as an opinion as a minister, has got nothing to do with the law. Unless the notification is passed, Nirmala Aunty, whatever she tells is of no value, to be honest. I mean, it is of value, but what I'm saying is only when it comes as a notification, it's of value. So, budget 2023, she made a speech. After that, many things were added, right? So now what will have value? Whatever she spoke or what is added? What is added? Obviously. So her speech, etc., is of no relevance until and unless that is already notified. Everything should happen via notification. So if you see, if you check, there are so many, for example, circulars and notifications. So I can check year-wise also. So many notifications have come. See, I'll just remove this. So every year, every day in 2023 only we can check some see, all these are notifications. See, this is again, you see, this is a notification which I'm just randomly showing you. See, this is as per the income tax 13th amendment rules. So the notification will be in this, format. All these things. So these are all these may be called as income tax 13th amendment rules. After this rule, this will be added. After that rule, this will be deleted. Like that, they will keep asking. So this is the notification. And as far as circular, you see, this is the internal regulation. So you see, I'm just showing you. See, circular to remove difficulty in implementation of changes relating to TCS on LRS, on overseas tour program. This is in 2023 10 circular. So here, this is what? This is given to all the assessing officers. They are telling, boss, see, this is how we should do. They are giving this. This is how it should be done. See, guideline. This is guideline to whom? Assessing officers. Tomorrow when you are checking TCS, whether payment through overseas credit card would be counted in LRS, no, yes, all those things. No TCS will be applicable through international credit card while being overseas till further order. All these things. Till further order. So till now, don't check. Later we'll see. Like that, see? So many questions. So many. These are all guidelines. It will be given by Under Secretary to Government of India, an IAS officer. Got it? So if you see, whether purchase of international travel ticket or hotel accommodation on standalone basis is purchase of overseas tour program. Generally, when I buy an overseas tour program from, these SOTC, then you have your Kesari tours, Chariot World tours, you have to pay TCS. So I am the agent, overseas tour program. I will say, sir, 5 lakh is 8 lakh is the entire package. Sir, 8 lakh plus TCS. I'm collecting the tax at source. The moment I collect money from you, government will know, oh, you have spent 8 lakh rupees. That's called TCS. Oh, you have spent 8 lakh, on that you are paying TCS. If you go buy a car worth 12 lakh rupees, government will collect TCS. They will know, okay, you have bought a car. That's why you have paid. TCS is hardly 1%, 2%, but the government will already know that you have bought a car. You know how that filing and all works. Everything will go and sit in something called AIS, Annual Information Statement. Everything, your history, geography, everything will be there in that. Everything is linked to Aadhaar and PAN now. The tax department will have lot of data. What you do, what you are doing, everything. Simple, no? So here, the question here was, if I am buying a 7 lakh rupees package, is it an international tour package? Yes, definitely yes. What if I will not buy any package? I'll go and stay in some 5-star hotel abroad. That's what they're saying. See, whether purchase of international travel ticket or hotel accommodation on standalone basis means I don't go to Kesari tours. I don't go to this thing. I just go and randomly buy my own tour. I'll do. I don't want any group tour, individual tour. Is it also overseas tour package? So again, they are telling, said, you see, purchase of only international travel ticket, purchase of only hotel accommodation by itself, she is not covered in overseas tour package. So if you see, to qualify as overseas tour program package, it should have all the three. So if somebody gives you international travel ticket, hotel accommodation, boarding, lodging, like a bulk package you will buy from an agent, only then it is called overseas tour package. Because under overseas tour package, you have to collect TCS. So if I go to SOTC or Chariot World Tours or anybody and buy an entire package of 8 lakhs per person, assume, then they have to collect TCS from you. Correct? They have to collect TCS from you. But if I, on my own, sitting in my home, go to goibibo.com and book one room, go to that respective hotel's website and book one room somewhere, book one car, then book one, the two hotels accommodations, I'll go to, all these websites and pick up one ticket, to and fro ticket, different agents I'm using. Is it called overseas tour program package? No. Now these guidelines are for whom? Assessing officers. Because tomorrow when they are checking, when they are doing the assessment, they should know, okay boss, you have spent 10 lakhs on a trip. Okay. Is it overseas tour package? No. Like in, June 23, I went to UK for 1 month, I had gone. So I never went for any of these stupid agents and all. I booked on my own. Now is it called overseas tour package? No. That's what they are trying to tell. Tomorrow when they are checking my, entire statement, AIS and all, they'll be checking. That time they'll show everything, all the international purchases were there in the credit card, they'll see the purchases. Then can they say TCS is not deducted? No, that's what they're trying to tell. See, these are instruction by whom? CBDT. Telling boss, if this fellow has used his credit card and he has bought hotel accommodation, he has bought international travel ticket, it is not forming part of overseas tour program package. Got it? This is what I am trying to tell. This is a circular notification binding on everybody. So we should understand all these things. And you, tell me. Yeah, here only. Here you see circular to remove the difficulty. This is called removal of difficulty orders. ROD it is called, removal of difficulty order. So they will first give a circular, then they will also issue an order. It is called removal of difficulty order. Since you asked, I'll tell you that section is also, power must be there to issue what? Removal of difficulty order. Otherwise, it is not valid. Imagine. Just like, where is the power to make rules? Which section? Power to make rules, which section? 295, right? Power to make rules is 295. We saw that the power to make rules is 295. Like that, you see 298. Since that you asked now, I am telling. See here. Power to remove difficulties. If any difficulty arises in giving effect to the provisions, it may by a general or special order remove the difficulty. So in interpretation problem there is in some of the sections, then they may issue the removal of difficulty order. For example, in company law, I'll tell you, small company definition was there. When now definition, I'll tell you. Small company was what? Paid up capital should be less than or equal to 4 crore. Turnover less than or equal to 40 crore. Earlier, there was the word or. In the Bare Act only, or is there. Imagine now, some companies with paid up capital 2 crore, but turnover 1000 crore, assume. They used to call themselves small company. Why? Because or is there. If it is less than or equal to 4 crore, definitely less than or equal to 4 crore, or turnover less than 40 crore, or this is not followed. Okay, but paid up capital is less than 2 crore, small company. Does it make sense? No. So, this was a difficulty. So, the MCA inserted something called removal of difficulty order and said this or should be read as and. Or should be read as and. It was through a removal of difficulty order. So, I'll just show you. That's what. So, ROD is inserted by whom? By the government, and in this case CBDT. In this case, CBDT. I just gave you an example of company law because just off top of my mind, I got the example. That's why. So if you see, I'll just show you that. I want you to see how they are passed. I want you to see that's the objective of this regular batch. It is not simply for the exam. It is much, much more. As I told you yesterday, it's for your life. You see here. See, substituted for or by what? Company removal of difficulty order. When was it passed? 13 to 2015. In your Bare Act, generally, when any change has come, no, it will be in the footnote below. Here I am showing because I have the subscription. But for you guys, any changes will be in the footnote. So you also should read the footnotes. Some will be applicable from some year. You are doing the audit that year, but that year it will actually be applicable. Next year or not, it will be not applicable. So all that you need to see while doing your work. Right? So slowly we will learn how to read the Bare Act. Then things will become very, very simple, guys. Very easy it will be. Initial 10-15 days will be problematic because we have never touched the Bare Act in our lives. But trust me, after that it becomes very simple. So coming back, procedures and notifications, all that we were doing. So coming back to this. So FM, Finance Minister, whatever he tells, whatever he or she tells, it's not binding at all on anything. The notification are the subordinate regulations. So that is what it is. That is what it is. Then as far as rules, what are rules? They are framed by CBDT. Clause is what? You have a section, so subsection, and then there is a clause. Whereas in if it's an independent clause like section 2, then it is 2(1)(a), 2(2), 2(3) like that because it's independent. We saw that. Then subsection is what? Part of the entire section. Notification and circular we have seen. Then sometimes law uses something called proviso. What does a proviso do? You would have seen many places, provided that, provided that, provided that. See here only, provided that. Simply 119 subsection randomly provided that. So when there is a section, then there will be a subsection. Under that subsections, there will be proviso or a proviso. What does this proviso or proviso do? First it says provided that. Second, if I want to say, it says provided further that. Since we are just analyzing the Bare Act and trying to figure out the Bare Act, I'll just, what do you say? And some sections have crazy provisos. It is never ending, those provisos. You'll see from the Income Tax Act only. So many provisos, guys. We'll see on deadly section 32, depreciation. See the proviso, how many you want. See under 32(1), provided. Second proviso will be called provided further that. Third proviso will be called provided also. Fourth is also called also, or not also, only also. Then again also, like that. So every subsection will have provisos. Every subsection will have explanations also. In income tax, so many explanations we have. What does an explanation do? It gives more meaning to what the lawmaker intended to tell. It explains the intention of the legislature. During the course of our classes, we will figure out many things. What does a proviso do? So, for example, in section 32, first it tells provided that. Second, it tells provided further. Third one, it says provided also. Fourth one also will be what? Provided also. What does a proviso do? It adds on to the subsection or gives an exception to the subsection. A proviso, what does it do? Adds on to the subsection or gives an exception to the subsection. Either adds on or it gives an exception. First 10 classes in that almost 5-6 hours will be only basics. because I want you to unlearn all that nonsense that we have read in Inter. Inter we have deemed to have been passed. We only know how we have studied, to be honest. So we have to unlearn all those things and learn this. Tomorrow in the exam, nobody will ask you what is the proviso. But in the interview, they'll ask. Sir, why are we seeing next step? Because we need to. Passing is a means to the end, guys. Everyone will pass eventually. If not one attempt, next attempt they'll pass. But later when you join a job, before joining, that interview should not be like, they should not tell, you're a CA. How did you become CA? Horrible. It's a worst feeling if they think like that. On the other hand, if they say, man, you are knowledgeable. Are you a CA by chance? That is a different thing. So my intention from day one of whenever I started teaching was always to ensure, because I know eventually students will clear by mugging up or not mugging up, something they'll clear. But the future looks very horrible. There are chartered accountants who are earning 25,000 rupees per month also. There are chartered accountants who are earning 2.5 lakhs per month also. Difference is knowledge and their ability or inability to read the Bare Act. Many people, unfortunately, even after clearing final, they don't know how to read the Bare Act. And in your work life, whether it is practice, whether it's industry, without Bare Act analysis, we are doomed. As simple as that. That's why we should know all these things. So first few hours, it's okay. We'll take some time. How does it matter? We have 240 hours with us. No tension. So the way institute is going to ask questions are not at all going to be easy. You can see it, but only you guys can crack it, because now we are learning the art to read the Bare Act. And this will also help in that paper 6. Paper 6 is a combination of all 8 subjects. FR, SFM, is AFM now, DT, IDT, law, SCMP, everything, auditing. So it's a combination, and it has become mandatory now, multidisciplinary case study. And there they can ask you questions of almost like 5-6 pages, and they'll ask you to figure out all the possible things. That time also you can take the Bare Act with you. So we'll have a edge over everybody else, that I know for sure. You just have to trust the process. So if you are feeling uncomfortable, it is excellent. Why? Only when we are changing something, we'll feel very uncomfortable. We are coming out of our comfort zone and learning stuff. Because comfort zone is what? I'll give you full neat charts. If this comes, this you should answer. This comes, this you should answer. Gone are those days now. You see the paper. Last 3 attempts paper you see. You'll only come to know what I'm trying to tell. Or talk to your seniors. They'll tell progressively DT paper is becoming standard paper. Progressively. You study and go something else will come in the exam. So gone are those days of mugging up and going and vomiting in the exam. We are not scoring more only 40, 45. Everyone is scoring that much only in DT. There is no 60, 70, no scene only now because of the way they are asking questions. So we need to be able to match that, we need to do all these things. Proviso adds on to the subsection or gives an exception to the subsection. So for example, here I'm just showing you that we are doing 32 only. Now we'll see that only. Depreciation, it talks about 32, generally talks about depreciation. Okay, what all depreciation you should charge on what all sections. Then you see 32 talks about charging depreciation. Now a proviso should either add on to it or gives an exception. Yes or no? This 32(1) is talking about charging depreciation. Fair enough. But you see, provided that no deduction shall be allowed in these cases. Is it giving an addition or exception? Exception. Because 32(1) says depreciation has to be charged. 32(1) proviso says no deduction shall be allowed. Correct? Second proviso says if it is used for less than 180 days, 50% depreciation. It's an exception or addition? Addition to it. Correct? Because this says depreciation has to be charged. First proviso says depreciation will not be allowed in certain cases. Second proviso says it will be allowed, but I'm making an addition. Instead of full rate, half rate. Like that. So many things. We'll see that later. Then to explain more about it, there are explanations added. Explanations will go by the intention of law. If people are cheating and many case laws are there which should avoid the cheating, etc., then the lawmaker will say, no, no, let us insert an explanation to ensure what the intention of lawmaker was. During the course of the discussion, we will see. One golmaal they used to do. To remove the golmaal, one case law came. And that case law was not beneficial for the income tax department. So what did they do? Added explanation. We will see. Every section has one explanation actually. Every section has one history. We'll see all that wherever needed. Because if you full do means 1000 hours you give me. You'll be like, hey, Goda, or I'm here only to read one subject, is it? No. We will manage it in such a way that it will only be obviously exam oriented plus more obviously. Like that, if you sit and I've read all those books, if I sit and tell all those things, 1000 hours you should give me. Nobody will, give 1000 hours in income tax DT. Stupid it is. We should take into account examination also, 100%. But we should also be equipped for the future. That is my intention. So wherever necessary, I will tell you the history of each of these explanations during the course of the classes. I told you first 7-8 hours will be very uncomfortable. Like, what am I doing? It's a natural feeling. That is a feeling of detox. Detox they'll do, no? What body detox? They'll give you something to drink, etc. 2 days full loose motion vomiting. What is it doing? It is acting on the body, removing all the filth from inside. That is what we are doing. In Inter, we did chart method. You remember in chart and all, we studied in Inter. Now this chart, house property means this, if this comes this, nothing works in CA final. We are doing charts, that's why the workbook is there. But chart we are doing after understanding everything. And you will not be needing to study all that we are doing now. You just have to finish this, see this and over. See, yesterday we spent 2 hours only to explain some 3 parts of this, that's it. Now that you need not think only from tomorrow. Tomorrow you just see, yeah, this fellow told article 245, 246, I remember, that's it. Article number also no need to remember. You should just know that lawmaker, tax other than agricultural income, central government, for agricultural income, state government, that's it. And if nothing is there, one residuary entry is there. 97, that's all. Number also I don't remember, I don't care. And president sometimes, emergency situation, he can pass something called ordinance. That much knowledge if you have, that's enough. I don't want the article number, I don't care. I don't want entry number. You just need to have the knowledge. Because tomorrow, guys, if anybody asks you this question, we should be in a position to answer. It will be humiliating for a CA not to know all these things. It's okay not to know. Nobody knows the entire Income Tax Act. Even I don't know the entire Income Tax Act. But today, if anybody asks, I know where to check. That is all a CA should be equipped with. If anybody asks you a question, rather than telling I don't know, you should tell, sir, give me 1 day. I'll get back to you. Because then you can open the Bare Act and then you can check. As I told you yesterday, again tell the Bare Act is your Bhagavad Gita, Quran, Bible, everything. That is actually your holy book. Religion is secondary. Religion will not give you money unless you are a Swamiji, Nityananda. Correct? But this will give you everything. So, whatever religion you may follow, kindly follow it. I'm nobody to tell don't follow and all that. Please have your faith separate. But please put your full faith in this book that you have. So, I am the only person in the whole of the country. Now you see everybody will copy to actually give the Bare Act. Correct? Because people get scared with the Bare Act. But I want you to start loving the Bare Act because that is your bread and butter in the future. That is your rice that will give you that rice in the future to eat. That is your, everything, guys. Your house, your car, your, 2 meals a day is because of the book that you have with you. It's a very, very important investment that you have made, to be honest with you, right? Very, very important investment. So it will give you everything for sure. Right. So if you see, that is the thing, guys. All that we discussed. Now, couple of things in the, as per the Indian Constitution, we can just quickly check and then we can move on. All these entry numbers and all we saw, come here. I told you, income tax and the Indian Constitution. Couple of points. So, first is the Article 14. Article 14 of the Indian Constitution. Let's write down. Article 14 of the Indian. I'm seeing this page number, which one? A1. Article 14 of the Indian Constitution, it says what? State does not deny. State means country, not Karnataka state. State means the country. State does not deny to any person, does not deny to any person equality before the law. This is a very, very important article. Equality before the law. Or equal protection. Equal protection of laws within the territory of India. Within the territory of India. So guys, state does not deny to any person equality before the law. Means what, guys? Everybody is equal. Means what they are trying to tell is, can they have different rates for different people? You are an SC, for you this rate. You are an ST, this rate. You are an OBC, this. No. You are earning 1 crore, okay, you pay this much tax. But if you see slab rate, everybody has to pay up to 10 lakhs some amount, no? Everybody. Even Mukesh Ambani will pay the same. Even I will pay the same, you will pay the same. That is equality before law. Okay, you have different slabs, no problem. If you are crossing that slab, but it should be equal. Everybody should pay on basis must be the same. Tax amount will be different depending on your earning. But you cannot say for Mukesh Ambani it is first 1 crore exempt. No. It should be everyone. If everybody is getting exemption, whoever is earning 1 crore, if you give exemption to everybody, fine. Only to Mukesh Ambani 1 crore exemption. No. If all of you are in the same industry, you are doing, let's say, mining. Okay, for all mining fellows, exempt. Fair enough. But only for Mukesh Ambani who is doing mining, exempt. Others have to pay. No. That is Article 14 of Indian Constitution. Equality before the law. Everybody is equal. You cannot play around. Right? Everybody is equal in its own way. So, there was one case, just for your knowledge, I am writing. Venugopal Verma versus Union of India. All this is not relevant for the exam, guys. It's just for, I told you, detox we are doing. That's all. Once we start with PGBP, that is our main thing. And before that, once we start the basics, then that is all relevant for the exam. This is just for your overall understanding of the tax structure. Venugopal Verma versus Union of India. Supreme Court judgment. So there they have come out with certain things. Legislature, that is the lawmaker, will determine two things. One is what? Objects of the tax and the rates of tax. One deadly dialogue. The state or the country, state means country, state does not have to tax everything in order to tax something. Imagine the dialogue. I want to tax something. I want to tax one part of it, income. I'll tax everything. No. Which means they are trying to tell state can give exemptions. Like for example, agricultural income, exempt. And if you are in a special economic zone, exempt. I don't have to tax everything in order to tax something. And the legislature can give what, guys? Legislature can create, classify persons or classify category of persons and then tax accordingly, no problem. If any provision is unconstitutional, court can strike it down. If you put one legislature there saying that this you should do only for these people, only for that people, court can strike it down under Article 14. If it is unconstitutional, you can strike it down under Article 14. For example, as of today, we speak in PMLA, Prevention of Money Laundering Act. Do you know police officers under PMLA will have the power to just come and start searching without giving notice? Imagine. Like today they can come and say, I want to sit in my class. I'll say no. Tomorrow, because assume he's a PMLA officer. He said, my son wants to sit in class. He shows a lot of, aggression when he's talking to me. I said, no, sir, sorry, I will not allow. He'll go back tomorrow, he'll come and raid. People are doing that. I'm not joking. People are doing that. Personal vendetta, personal, if you have any grudge against some person, go and raid. As of today, as we speak, a case is lying in the Supreme Court. Against what? Article 14. With that PMLA provision which says, how can you give power to officers to raid without any notice or without opportunity of being heard directly like that? What is that power? It is still in the Supreme Court. That is a question of law. What law? Constitution of India. Supreme Court will never hear questions of fact. Supreme Court will always hear questions of law. When Ajmal Kasab killed so many people, was Supreme Court hearing why you killed? I mean, did you kill those people or not? No. They all know they killed. What were they hearing? Mens rea, criminal intention. Why did you kill? And the punishment should be what? Death or should be something else. Same with Nirbhaya rape case also. Everybody knew that the lady was raped and murdered. Everybody knew that. The Supreme Court was not at all hearing the fact. Fact, I know, boss, you killed. The question here is, for the act that you did, is it death penalty or is it life imprisonment or what it is? If you see Nirbhaya rape case also prolonged so long and the Supreme Court said death to that person, but still the Supreme Court itself allowed him to go for review petition and other petitions along with the final appeal to the president for mercy. Many people, and by the way, the judge was a chartered accountant. He was about to be hit by many people, because he was delaying the justice. He told one dialogue. Tomorrow, when those three people are in the, final execution chamber where the, on the neck, this, for hanging, the noose is tightened. They should not feel the Indian judiciary let me down. Which means, as per the judiciary, whatever the last possible measure that you can take, you have taken. That is what the judge said. Judge said, I don't care if people are against me. I am giving them the last possible, measure under the judiciary. So if you see all these things. So in case you are doing something which is against the law, I can strike it down under which article? Article number 14. And two articles more, guys. You can just, this is all like small. Article 19. Article 19(1)(g). Article 19(1)(g). It is a right to practice any profession. That is for us. Any profession or any occupation. We can practice whatever we want. But guys, I'm just asking. I have given the right to practice any profession. So can people practice prostitution? This is a serious question. Can people practice any profession? I'm into drugs. I'll openly go sell now. What do you think? No. So as much as the power is given here, in the same article, if you read the Constitution, they also say, I will put certain restrictions. Just because this dialogue is there, I can do whatever I want. No, I will put restrictions. That also is there in the article. So all these are relevant for a chartered accountant, so to speak. So now, with this thing in mind, all the sources of law, all that we have seen. Bifurcation also done. So as I told you, that's why I was taking it slightly, early, so that we can have a 10-minute breather. So after this, short break, we will do something very interesting. That is, finally we'll start off with basis of charge. We have just done section 1. One class, section 1 means 298 sections means 298 classes. No, no. Don't worry. We'll go fast. I told you, guys, detox. Initially, we need to just clean all the filth from whatever is there inside. Now, after the break, we will do this basis of charge. In this basis of charge, we will be understanding many, many things. That is, charge on income tax is on what? Is it on income? Is it on total income? Is it on profit? And tax means what rate is it? There are two things. One is rates in force, they have told. One more is rates as per the act, they have told. What do you mean? All the differences, etc. We'll have to see. Because tomorrow when you are seeing rates in force is different from rates as per the act. So we need to know the difference between rates in force and rates as per the act. Then we need to know the difference between what is total income and tax and income. And tax is on an individual or tax is on any person? Person. So we need to understand that. So we'll take a short break, right? And then we will continue.